Hey, Mrparka here for episode 6. This is actually episode 6, or week 6, whatever you prefer. I have 5 movies I want to review today, and just a little bit of an update, of course a contest, and a shout out as well. So let's get into this. Some of these are new releases, which I think is actually pretty cool. Some of them are, some old titles that I revisited. So yeah, here we go. The first one we have here from Arrow. This actually is pretty much sold out in a lot of places. This is The Bird with the Crystal Plumage by Dario Argento. This is actually his first directed movie, and his first giallo, of course, since it's his first movie. But yeah, this was released in 1970. It had a huge following for the time, and it wasn't the first giallo, but it was one of the ones that definitely kind of was a catalyst to make many more giallo and inspired it. If you look at the year 1970 and 1971, it's very well documented that there were so many giallos at that time coming out. It was an overabundance. This one actually was a pretty big hit at the time, although the initial reception was pretty bad. But after that initial hump, they had some good reception and good praise, and it made its money back. They actually had Dario Argento do 2 more giallos, and they fit into the kind of animal trilogy, Four Flies on Grey Velvet and Cat o' Nine Tails. Bird with the Crystal Plumage is a very, very well-made movie, and it's really cool to see. This is actually a 4K scan by Arrow, so it looks freaking amazing. Looks great, sounds great, but it's really cool to see if you're a fan of Argento and you've seen some of his stuff like Suspiria or Inferno or Phenomenon, or those crazy, bizarre movies that have these giallo elements but aren't quite giallos. But it's hard to say what is a giallo and what's not because they're so broad of a term of film, but less giallo for sure. They have these giallo elements, and they're just batshit crazy and surreal and a little inept, to be honest. But they're very good as well. You get to see Bird where he started, and it's very straightforward, very well made. Has some similarities, like I said, these quirky, weird characters, and of course the inventive camera tricks. But it's more focused. It's definitely a more straightforward piece. It has your typical things, an American writer goes to Italy, and he gets caught up. He witnesses this attempted murder, and he starts to become pretty much the prime witness in the case. Tries to figure out who the murderer was, and of course him and his girlfriend become targets from the killer. What I like about this movie is they give you everything, but it's hard to put together, and when it actually does come out what it is, you are having these glimpses at it, and I love the twist. I love the psychology behind the killer in this one, and I think it's refreshing to see who the killer actually was. Kind of surprised me. A very sadistic person does a very, very good performance in here. It is bizarre to see these like quirky characters pop up as well, and it has that old like thing with the art, with the violence, like you'll see in Stendhal Syndrome pop up with the weird kind of what do they call that when you're like fascinated and by colors, and you have these feelings because of them. But yeah, it's a great looking movie. And it looks great on Arrow Blu-ray. The special features on this one, bear with me, I'm going to look at the back to remind you to remember all of them, but most of the stuff, they had a commentary with Troy Horvath in here, and they had these interviews and these kind of video essays and featurettes that basically play out as college courses. These people are very well versed in Argento, and they go in depth about his career and about how, feminism in his movies, and it was really intriguing, and it was so cool to see somebody take like movies that I guess not everybody would make like college courses about and get really deep with them, because there's a lot of interesting stuff in this movie to be seen, and it's a very interesting piece because it is Dario Argento's directorial debut, but it stands as one of his strongest films. And that's really weird to see how he stayed the same and how he changed as he went on. And of course, Ennio Morricone does the score on here, or Morricone. I'm not necessarily sure how you pronounce it, but I've heard it pronounced both ways. But and that's never a bad thing. Loaded with features, like I said on here. A new interview with Dario. He talks about the initial reception and the producers, and almost getting booted off the film. And I believe as a producer that was a friend with his father's kind of was like, no, he's going to stay, or he kind of made him stay. And there's an interview with one of the quirky actors on here who did a few films, bizarre looking guy. He's really candid as well. And an old interview ported over, I believe, with Eva Renzi. So it's a loaded special edition of this one. It comes with a booklet. I'm pretty sure Arrow will re-release this without the booklet and the nice hard case. But so keep your eyes open, or maybe try to track it down at somewhere like Diabolic DVD or Arrow or Amazon UK, or maybe the MVD shop has it, or even Grindhouse Video. So yeah, regardless, it's a great movie, and I was really thrilled to see the new Arrow's presentation of it and how they took it so seriously. They always take everything seriously, but this one definitely deserved the royal treatment, and Arrow did not disappoint with it. Interesting movie, great package and everything. So check out the Arrow video story on it. I'm sure you guys will be drooling after that.
The mysterious phone calls are a giallo staple, and they go all the way back to Mario Bava's Black Sabbath.
While Argento has certainly never been timid about showing glamorous young women in heavily sexualized states of bodily trauma, like most things relating to this Euro horror icon, it is never wise to attempt reductive declarations to summarize his work.
That's something that rarely gets picked up. He's often just accused of being a misogynist and looked at as a filmmaker who revelled in violence towards women.
Devo dire che una volta, in uno dei momenti più drammatici del film, ho sentito come delle voci che c'erano nella casa.
Che avevo costruito questa storia assolutamente inverosimile su un particolare che poi poteva essere insignificante, ma che ha dato poi la storia, la credibilità a tutta la storia.
And madness was a subject matter. I had read a lot of Dostoevsky. So madness was a matter that was captured by my mind.
How do I open the door?
Yeah, the next one, guys, for Massacre Video, Halloween Night, aka Hack-A-Lantern, which is the title I remember seeing it as. Yeah, I've been waiting for this one forever. Massacre Video has been talking about releasing this one for a long time, so everybody had, you know, a lot of anticipation. I saw this, I don't know, over a decade ago, and it was on a crummy bootleg, and it had this, I remember always enjoying it. I didn't remember everything about it. I had this weird Halloween kind of small town feel, which I'm a sucker for, and Hack-A-Lantern definitely had that. So when I popped it in, I was amazed. This is actually remastered from a 35mm print. They shot this weirdo, bizarre movie on 35mm. Very, very bizarre movie. Essentially, Halloween Night, I don't even know how to get into this story here. It's a story about Satanism, incest, murder, mayhem, small town Halloween antics. It just looks great. It's actually directed by an Indian guy and produced by Indian guys that didn't really understand what Halloween was in America, and that shows here. But also they paint this really good small town feel. Everything feels like fall to me, and right when I watch it, it puts me in a comfort zone. Maybe call me sick, but it's that time when I would go to the video store and rent these kind of things. It definitely feels like VHS nostalgia, even though it's remastered on 35 and looks freaking great. What we have here is a grandpa who's evil Satanist. He kills his daughter's husband, his son-in-law, on Halloween, and the whole family's pretty much messed up from that on. They all grow up. All the grandkids grow up. One actually, I don't want to spoil too much, but one has this bond with the grandfather. He's running this cult, and he wants him in the cult to become like a big part of it. And this is all boiling over to Halloween night. The mom is in shambles because of the husband. She's all messed up. She thinks her kids are leaving her. And we shoehorn in a Halloween party, of course, with lots of zany characters in costume dancing, people getting picked off in fairly gnarly ways, and a gratuitous amount of nudity. Lots and lots of sleazy nudity in this movie. And the incestuous stuff in here is really gross. And it does lots of stuff in here that kind of surprised me. And the dialogue between the female characters I actually really enjoyed. And the guy who plays Billy, which is probably one of the most memorable characters in the movie, maybe besides Grandpa, I was looking him up and I was like, man, they had an interview with him on here. I was like, that guy looks so familiar. What is he from? I looked him up and he was one of the goons in Cliffhanger, Ryan. He has the infamous line, "Go fetch, Wonder Dog," which is a great line. And he's also Mac's dad in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Luther. So it was really cool to see this guy, recognize him and see him go on to all these other things. And it just made it that much more fun for me to watch. But the movie is completely ridiculous, but it has a really great sleazy feel, and it takes place in that satanic panic of the like mid 80s or late 90s, early 90s deal. So you have that element going on in here. Some of the deaths, like I said, are gratuitous, and at moments it's very heartfelt, which kind of surprised me at the end. Also, really love the score in here. Just a very memorable movie, and I'm always rule of thumb for me: if there's a pumpkin in it, I'm probably gonna like it, and there's lots of pumpkins in this one. But I can't really go on any further without describing Grandpa. The character of Grandpa, he throws up the devil horns, but he just throws them up like this. Absolutely hilarious stuff. He's like, "It's Halloween, Billy," and he's just batshit crazy performance. He's chewing the scenery and he's loving it. He was kind of a bit actor in a bunch of big movies, and this was kind of his biggest role. But yeah, you won't be disappointed if you like sleaze and cheese. This is one of the pinnacle sleaze and cheese movies from that time, I think. Kind of sleazy, cheesy fun, you know. But the Blu-ray actually consists of interview with, I can't think of the actor's name, but, you know, Billy. He seems pretty candid about it. Interview with the mother, and a commentary on here, which is really cool, with the producer. The director sadly passed away, I believe, in 2011, maybe? But an interview, well, a commentary with the producer. Although it has its bumps here and there. It's narrated by Joe Rubin and Louis Justin from, of course, Massacre Video. But it has its bumps in here, maybe some audio and maybe some malfunctions here. But they get in depth with it, and the producer's one of those guys he's a no bullshit guy, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, love this movie, love this release, super happy to have it. But that's Halloween Night, which I like to call Hack-a-Lantern. The next one here created some buzz. This is Sweet Sugar. This is an exploitation movie from Vinegar Syndrome, of course. Vinegar Syndrome, what can I say about it? It's one of the best companies in the business. They, like I said, polish turds a lot of times, and they look so good. It's amazing to see them. They give everything the royal treatment, similar to Arrow, but they have their own in-house like scan and stuff, so they can do everything on there. And they just save all these incredible movies and these bizarre oddities of film, porn, horror, exploitation. So I really dig what they are doing. These two were actually part of their half Black Sunday, half mid-Black Friday sale. And they did two movies. They did Red Mob and Sweet Sugar, which were limited, and you had to get them on that sale. I was lucky enough to get them both, but I popped in Sweet Sugar, and this one is a blast, I must say. Basically made in, like, I believe 72. It has that women in prison thing going on. This woman, Sugar, of course, her name is Sugar. She gets caught with some marijuana in, I believe, Mexico, and she's forced to work in the sugar canes with these corrupt, evil guards, and this crazy doctor wants to perform medical experiments on there. Shoehorn in this, not shoehorn in, but we also have these elements of women in bamboo cages. We have elements of, like I said, the weird, crazy experiments. We have this element of, you're kind of like mean, tough black prisoner as well, that they have this weird relationship but end up being better friends than they expected. Simone, that's her name, she's great in it as well. But packed with nudity, packed with sleaze, and just an all-around crazy exploitation movie. Of course, there's an escape. Of course, there's horrific violence, a lot of on-PC stuff, and I imagine that there's some animal cruelty going on there when they toss these rabid cats over the fence at the girls, and they're supposed to be attacking them, but most of them are just sitting there. It's kind of unintentionally funny there. And they even have this weird supernatural element with one of the male prisoners named Mojo, who has these voodoo powers. So it's a ridiculous movie, but it never slows down. And there's a couple moments in here where I actually kind of jumped at some of the things that happen. I don't want to spoil anything, but they are carrying machetes to cut the cane. So it involves somebody's hand in a machete, and it's a beautiful scene and comes out of nowhere. Spoiler alert, if you watch the trailer, it will spoil absolutely everything about this movie. So skip the timestamp to the next review if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you. But I believe if you guys keep hitting up Vinegar Syndrome and saying, I want that Blu-ray, they might release a non-limited edition, or at least put it on Exploitation TV, which is their streaming service. So if you really want to see Sweet Sugar, maybe bug Vinegar Syndrome. But regardless, it's a really, really fun movie. Although, like I said, morally, but it has its share of nudity, has a lesbian scene, has a rape scene, of course. You can't really get a woman in prison movie without a rape scene. The doctor in this movie is just a loony bin. At the end of the movie, he completely goes, what is the word I'm looking, comatose almost, and just gets super weird. But, it's a lot of fun. By the director of Werewolves on Wheels, which I never got a chance to watch. There's an interview with the writer on the disc, and he seems finally remembers this kind of stuff. He wrote other movies like this, but My Sweet Sugar looks good, and it probably doesn't deserve this royal treatment that it got, but I'm loving it.
Meet Sugar. She's beautiful, in chains. And she's busting out, shackled to the steamy cane fields of a tropical inferno, with a whirlpool of women that plunges you into the depths of desire. They're women, they're warm, they're wildcats. Meet the doctor, who's satisfied his vile gluttony on the bodies of the innocent.
It's only because you don't understand how far my proposal extends.
Oh, I can see how far it extends.
Cain wasn't all she raised. The searing sting of the whip burned a brand of hate into her heart. Their world of plantation, their battleground, a tropical inferno. She can cut any man down to size.
Listen to me! We can take this place! Let's go!
Warm hands, cold trigger, blazing death. An epidemic of machine gun madness. 38 caliber kittens spitting death as they claw their way to freedom. Nothing can hold her. Not chains, not bars or men. Sweet Sugar.
The next movie, Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington, Virtuosity. I saw this when it came out in 95. I was a wee lad, 9 or 10 years old. So yeah, Virtuosity. Let's get into this. This is a pretty mainstream movie, but I never hear anyone talk about it anymore. It's in the future, and it actually predicted a lot of things, which is kind of funny for me to watch. Denzel Washington is an ex-cop turned prisoner who is used in these experiments to, there's this thing called SID 6.7, and he is this weird serial killer hybrid computer-generated program that is going to be used to train cops, but they're using it on prisoners first. One of the Denzel's, friend or partner, he dies in the experiments, and this upsets Denzel. It puts this relationship with Russell, where he hates Russell Crowe, is Sid 6.7, and of course somehow Sid gets out into the real world in this kind of weird nanobot technology, and he starts to kill people. He has the personality traits of 150 psychopaths and serial killers, and like I said, it's played by Russell Crowe, chewing the scenery and having the time of his life doing it. Denzel's fairly straight in here, but he does that kind of action stuff really good, and what you get is just a really fun, violent action movie that is a laugh riot throughout. Denzel is solid, like I said, but Russell Crowe steals the show. On top of that, you got people popping up like William Forsythe doing a really good job. Who else is in here? Kevin J. Connor is in here as well. And I know I'm forgetting somebody that's at the tip of my tongue. Geez, I can't believe I can't remember her name. But Louise Fletcher from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Invaders from Mars. So it's got a nice little cast in here, and it's a lot of fun. It never slows down. The practical effects are good. The digital effects, are Lawnmower Man territory, where they're kind of corny CGI virtual reality stuff from this time. Lots of movies like it, but I had a lot of fun with it. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I always liked it. And it predicted in the movie, the nanobots and stuff, and it also is talking about people being upset about immigration, but that's been a thing for years. But it's kind of funny to see it in this movie, and I'm like, man. And it has this obsession with people constantly filming everything and broadcasting it everywhere, which is kind of what happens now. I guess I'm guilty of it, but is that kind of term. It's just funny to think all the big movies that tried to get the future right, and Virtuosity is closer than a lot of them. But there's not really anything special on the Blu-ray. It has a bunch of subtitles, maybe a bunch of different languages. But if you're looking for a fun kind of technological thriller from the mid-90s with a really good cast and a high body count, then check out Virtuosity. I would recommend it highly.
In this high-tech crime prevention facility, one man has been recruited to play a simulated game. The objective, to hunt down the ultimate virtual reality killer, SID 6.7. There's only one problem. The computer changed the program. Now, he's in the real world.
He's interactive.
On your knees, now!
He doesn't enjoy the game unless he's playing against his favorite opponent, and that's me.
From the director of Lawnmower Man.
He's recreating mass murders.
So you're saying Sid's a copycat?
Sid 6.7 is intent on improving the original.
Denzel Washington.
Just because I'm carrying around the joy of killing your family inside me doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Virtuosity.
Game over.
The next one here is In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill by John Carpenter. And you're like, why are you reviewing that? Everybody's seen that. Similar to Virtuosity. I don't think In the Mouth of Madness gets the love it deserves. Again, that disc is pretty bare bones. But In the Mouth of Madness ends the kind of end of the world trilogy of John Carpenter. First The Thing, then Prince of Darkness, and then we have, of course, In the Mouth of Madness. Made in 95 or 94, around the same time as Virtuosity. So yeah. This is a doozy of a plot, to be honest. Heavily inspired by H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King. We have this private eye. This guy, I believe he's like a private eye, and he's hired to look for Sutter Kane, who's the biggest writer at the time. Sutter Kane's writings have this weird effect on its readers. It kind of takes them over and makes them hallucinate. Charlton Heston actually hires Sam Neill to go find him, along with Julie Carmen from Fright Night 2 to go track Sutter Kane, who's played by Jorgen Prichoff, I believe you say his name. He's in a lot of stuff. You guys would recognize him. I believe he's in Das Boot, or not Das Boot, but Das Boot's super old. Maybe he isn't. I can't think. He's a famous German actor. He's at Beer Fest, but. Yeah, and he's also in House of the Devil, which are probably his 2 worst movies. But regardless, yeah, it's got a nice little cast on top of that, too. So he's sent to this this strange town that he thinks that Sutter Kane's at, called Hobbs End, which is actually one of his books. And they become entangled in this strange reality where you're not sure if it's the book coming true or that he based the book on this true town. People are turning to monsters, and this weird, fourth wall is broken a lot. And it's basically the end of the world through mass hysteria, told in a very screwed up, crazy way, which generally has a lot of nasty scares in there that actually just make me very uncomfortable. The sound design in this movie will make you jump. It'll make you freaked out. It makes you jump, and it also scares you just from the storyline going on in here as well. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I hadn't seen it in a while. There's so much creepy stuff going on, and it's very Lovecraftian, much more than something like a Stuart Gordon movie, which I love, but they're not very Lovecraftian. This has this kind of downbeat, scary stuff in it. Not much humor in here, like the kind of stuff humor, maybe dark humor, but the end of the movie is definitely a mind screw. You're not necessarily sure what's kind of going on, and definitely Jorgen's kind of playing that self-indulgent writer Stephen King style thing. But if you want some great special effects by K&B Effects, and you want some just a batshit crazy story that kind of makes you think a little bit, then I would highly recommend this one. Sam Neill's great as always. David Warner also pops up as a doctor trying to help Sam Neill, but there's just lots of great imagery in here, lots of good scares. It's never boring, and I love how Hobbs End looks, the town. Again, it gives me that nostalgic feel with just the right amount of leaves on the ground to, bring you back. Something Wicked This Way Comes is probably the #1 movie that does that to me. But In the Mouth of Madness is just an absolute classic. I love it. Everybody should love it. I think you should check out the trailer. And if you've seen it back in the day, I'm pretty sure everybody loves this movie. But if you don't, give it another spin. I think it's aged pretty well.
This one will drive you absolutely mad.
The riots began because the stores could not meet the demand of Sutter Kane's novel, In the Mouth of Madness.
Kane disappeared 2 months ago without a trace.
You're the guy that writes horror books.
You can forget about Stephen King. Kane outsells them all. I need to know if he's alive or dead, and I need that book.
It's a setup. I just have to work out how it's set up.
Kane's writing has been known to have an effect on his readers.
See this? It's a map.
This whole thing is being staged.
You just get out.
This is not reality.
It's all happening for real, Trent.
Hope so. The movie comes out next month.
Right now we're going to do the shout out, I guess I'll do. Another, probably people that don't really need my shout out, but it's the Screamcast podcast. This podcast is pretty cool. I actually discovered it probably like 3 months ago, and I've been listening to it like crazy. I've been going on their back catalog. It's got Brad Henderson and Sean Drager are the main hosts, but halfway through the show, they brought in BJ Colangelo, who writes for all sorts of websites. She's a super smart girl, friend of mine. I'm not just giving this a shout out because she's a friend of mine. I wouldn't typically do that, but I wouldn't give it a shout out unless it was good, and it's good. All three of these people have a nice insight on film and movies. they have a nice back and forth, and it's basically just friends bullshitting about movies. They have special guests here and there on there. I like the On the Doorstep because a lot of times they'll watch older movies that I remember seeing a lot, and they kind of refresh my memory, and then I want to check them out again. So it's like, oh man, thanks for that. And also it's a nice spot to see what's on Vudu, because I go on Vudu and I buy a lot of the stuff that's not on Blu-ray, on HDX on there, and they do the same thing, and they have some nice picks, the stream screams and the VHS. Oh my god, it's like walking down memory lane, and you know, a lot of times I haven't seen them, or I haven't watched them in 20 years. So it's Screamcast. All the information will be below if you want to check them out. If you're at work and you want to check out some horror stuff, I'd say check it out. I enjoy the hell out of it, and they have long episodes, so you know, it fills in the time pretty well. Okay, guys, you know what time it is. It's time for the contest. Let's get with the last week's contest to win the sealed Brain Damage from Arrow Films. I got the little bag here. Let's see what happens. Let's go, guys. Oop. Trying to dig in there. Want to mix that up real good. Wonder if I should just dump them all out and grab the one. I wonder if that'd be better. Who do we got? We got Sean Morin. Congratulations, Sean. Shoot me your information and I will send this out. I probably won't be this weekend, but well, of course it won't, because I'll just upload this video this weekend. It'll probably be like a Monday or Tuesday if that's cool. But you won Brain Damage, Sean Morin. Congratulations. And now time for the new contest. What you can win here, this is a sticker on the plastic wrap, is I have 2 copies of these for some reason. I bought an extra one on accident, or they sent me one. But this is Immoral Tales. Don't worry, this is still sealed. That's just a sticker on there from Arrow Films. This is by good luck saying his name, Walerian Boychacek. Sorry about that, but you know, he did stuff like The Strange Case of Mrs. Osborne and La Bête, which I've seen both of those, and I think they're really cool, surreal, dream-like, weird sex fantasies that are really kind of sleazy and just bizarre. But I've never seen this one, but I have it, and I'm giving it out. All you got to do is, of course, like the Screaming Toilet Facebook page. Leave a comment under this, the Screaming Toilet hosted page where this video and these reviews are hosted at. Again, Bird with the Crystal Plumage written review will be down there, and a bunch of other links and stuff and all the information about the titles. So like the Screaming Toilet Facebook page, leave a comment there, and be subscribed to my YouTube channel, and you could be entered to win Immoral Tales. So that's the contest. Now let's hop into the update. Not a very big update this time around, guys, but I hope it's quality stuff. I hope. I saw this, and it just came today. I was super excited. I saw it. I've been waiting for Best of the Best 2 to hit Blu-ray forever. I've been looking for streaming services in HD. But yeah, Best of the Best 1 through 4, UK edition. I love Best of the Best 1. I mean, I like Best of the Best 1. I think it's a cool, you know, inspirational karate movie. America versus whoever. But Best of the Best 2 is like what I live for. You take characters from the first movie and you throw them in a batshit crazy situation. Best of the Best 2 has one of the coolest cast in it. It's got, of course, Eric Roberts and Simon and Philip Rhea from the first, from the first movie. Chris Penn, geez, and you have a bunch of people popping up just for a second. Nicholas Worth, Patrick Kilpatrick, Wayne Newton, the guy who plays Braxis, the big, strong German guy who pops up in Cyborg and Beerfest again, which is really bizarre that movie popped up twice. But you also got Mike Geneviese's in here, Kane Hodder's in here. Geez, I know him for Sonny Lanham is in this movie. Great cast. I believe even what's Eddie Bunker pops up in this movie. It just has like the best B cast you could think of. Meg frickin' Foster. So many of my favorite people are in this movie, Best of the Best 2. They're basically thrown into this tournament where they have to fight to the death. And Chris Penn, I don't want to give anything away, but he's got some really great lines in here. One of the bad guys says, "You have a big mouth," and he's like, "Yeah, and a big everything else." And I just always thought Chris Penn was an underrated actor. But yeah, that's the Best of the Best collection. Best of the Best 3 I have seen. They fight like neo-Nazis. I remember being okay. Never saw part 4. But 1 is just crazy too, because it has James L. Edwards and Sally Kirkland and John P. Ryan in it. And it's fun. It's a cool movie. I got Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese. This is actually, I believe, a Canadian edition. I'm going to say this. I never saw Raging Bull. I've seen Best of the Best 1 through 3, but I never saw Raging Bull. And I love Scorsese. I love Robert De Niro. I love Joe Pesci. It's awful. That's why I bought it. I'm going to see it. Thinner. Who directed it? Is this, I knew it was somebody. Is it like a Tom Holland directed this movie? I liked this movie as a kid. I haven't seen it in years. This is the Olive Films release. But, yeah. What can I say about Thinner? Guy runs over a gypsy. He gets a curse on him. And he starts to get thinner. He's a big, heavy guy. I remember kind of enjoying it. 10 Little Indians. I got this. This is from Scorpion. I picked this up because the cast, man. Voice of Oliver Reed, Richard Attenborough, Herbert Lom, who I love, and Oliver frickin' Reed, who I love. So, yeah. 10 Little Indians, you know, it's a kind of a precursor to slasher movies, this kind of story. Then we have Psycho 4 from Scream Factory. I got this pretty cheap. This is a Mick Garris movie. Fairly solid Psycho sequel. Not as good as 2 or 3, but still worth checking out. I enjoy it. Got a good deal on it. This, I just bought the DVD, but I got this for like $7 brand new. Fender Bender from Scream. Not very expensive, so I thought I'd check it out. These two I actually got from the sale. I have more stuff coming, but it was on back order. Not really in a huge rush, you know. The Guardian by William Friedkin. I've always kind of had a soft spot for this movie. Any movie with you know, a tree that eats people and sacrificing babies, I'm into. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, it's a William Friedkin movie about a druid trying to sacrifice a baby to a tree. It's pretty ridiculous. We have Empire of the Ants and Jaws of Satan. I like giant ants, like giant bugs, and the trailer for Jaws of Satan. I was like, yep, I'm in. And the last is a movie I reviewed. I didn't have the real edition. I had a screener. Was The Swinging Cheerleaders. I found this pretty good price by Jack Hill. This is a fun, you know, sex comedy exploitation movie. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching, and remember to check out the written review and leave a comment, and any concerns or anything, let me know. And as always, thank you again. I'm probably repeating myself for watching.